Hey folks, it's Andrew Brown, and we are taking a look at the final submissions form. I want to give you extra instruction here just so that you have the best opportunity to get the outcome that you want for your final submissions. This form is open for a period of time that is specified on the GenAI Bootcamp website. Could you submit outside the time frame of that? It really depends if we do another cohort or if we have post bootcamp support. At the time of this video, I'm not making any of those promises. If it's open, it's open. If it's not, it's not. But make sure you check those dates, because if you're outside that date, you cannot submit and get the grade level that you might want to get. There are some badges that you can get no matter what. If you don't submit, I'll just issue them out. But for those top badges, Gold and Red Squad, you have to fill in this final submissions form the best you can on time, okay? So what I'm going to do is shrink my head on down here, and you'll notice here we have final submissions form. This appears in its own group, its own chapter. And so here, I just want to make a point here. Once you submit this, you cannot change it. So if you need to put it in a draft, put it as a draft. But don't forget to leave it in a draft. Some people do that. They'll forget to go back and submit it and think it's submitted. So here it says unsubmitted, right? And you can go back here, give it a hard refresh, make sure it is submitted. We'll go ahead and fill in the form. I'm not actually going to fill in the form, but I'm going to talk around these points so that you know exactly what I'm looking for. So the first thing is GitHub URL. So that will be something here. You know what I might also put in here is just your Discord handle. One moment. All right, I'm back. I'm just going to give this a nice hard refresh here because I do take in account if you have. I didn't put the field in. 1 second here. There we go. So yeah, if you have been active on the Discord, if you're not, that's fine. But if you have been, I would like to you place it into here. We already have it somewhere else in the system, but these forms don't carry everything over. We have to improve our system, so it's easier to gather information in one place. But if you can, put in your Discord handle there, because I will go cross-reference, see if you have any activity there. That might give you bonus points. That might push you into Red Squad. So, if you do have a Discord handle, put it in there so that I can easily find and map stuff when I'm doing grading. Your GitHub URL. I ask every week for you to put this in. I'm explicitly asking for this week, again, just because the way our system's built, I only see what's in the current form. I have to do a lot of digging to find that other information. So I'm putting it here so you have another opportunity to make sure that I can quickly and easily find your repository. Select what grade level you're going for. These are mapped on the marketing website. We didn't do like a complex rubric like we did for prior boot camps. The reason I didn't do that was just because we are treading new ground with GenAI technology, and I couldn't really create a cohesive baseline. And so I'm going to do everything, marking everything on a curve. And so I'm going to get through enough grading, which I have not for final submissions, but I have for last week, so like the week 5 or week 4. Week 5 we didn't have a submission, but for week 4 submissions, I've done enough to have an idea of where to kind of place things. But tell me what you're targeting for, because if you're going for Gold Squad and you're not going for Red Squad, then that's going to make my grading go a lot faster, and I'm not going to deliberate so much. I'm just going to make it easier for me to release it. So just tell me what level you're going for. You really can't get Gold or Red Squad if you do not submit this form. So just make it clear as to what you are targeting for. Tell me in summary what you were not able to do. So what technical things that you set out to achieve that you were not able to achieve. It doesn't matter if you weren't able to do things. If you have good documentation and you've shown what you have learned through that process. And when I say what you have learned, I don't just mean generic things, right? So a lot of folks think like, oh, I learned what a database was or whatever, or like what an LM is. That's not valuable from a company perspective. That's just you learning those complete elements. What's valuable is the technical uncertainty of not even anyone at the company knows, right? Or something you can't find online. So like, again, if you're using an ancient Greek model and you download it and nobody's using that model, and you go out and you find maybe like a fine-tuned one that has poor documentation, things like that. That is something that is worth putting in terms of technical uncertainty. But if it's something that other people can figure out and just you can't figure out, it's not technical uncertainty. It's technical uncertainty that you have because you don't have those skills yet, right? But a lot of other people do. So if it's very common things, that's just a lot of noise for me that I have to kind of cut through. When you're writing these things in, just make sure it's very to the point and dry. Just make it as concise and easy for me to read as possible so that I can go and evaluate your projects. I will clone your repos. I will try to run them if I have the technology, the keys, and things like that. And I have been running projects if folks have yet to see that in the grading experience there. But just so you know, I do run these things. I do crawl through the code. I look at your commits. I look at everything. And so what were you able to achieve? So these are the things that you had technical uncertainty of and that you did achieve. Again, if these are things that I was able to do and everyone else is able to do, and they're very straightforward things, those aren't things worth reporting, right? Report things that are things that were very unique to what you did, right? If you just were more focused on something else, this is your opportunity to put it here. So, some folks, they might not have been trying to seek out and do very technically uncertain tasks. They might have just been trying to follow along and build a cohesive project and ship it, and more think about like the business use case. That's good too. So just tell me like what was your focus? Because some folks, again, we had one student or boot camper that used ancient Greek, right? And so it'd be very hard for them to make a cohesive application. If they could, that's great, but it'd be very hard for them to deliver that because of the technologies they chose, because it's more like research and development and stretching it. Some folks might say, well, I'm still trying to learn this stuff, so I'm just trying to figure out how to build a cohesive application and understand the business use case and if it's applicable, right? So that could be like, would this work at scale? Would this actually work for this real use case? Things like that. So if you can't lean heavily into the research development part of it, you can lean heavy into the business side of it and things like that, right? Considerations and accommodations. If there's something you want to tell me that you want me to consider, put it in this box. If there's accommodations, like there was gaps in stuff or there was specific challenges that you had, this is your opportunity to put it in that box. And yeah, just do your best here. Try not to write too much. The size of the boxes is the size of information. Maybe you can go beyond the size of the box, of course, but if you go more than twice the size of the lines here, then you might be writing a little bit too much, right? If you want to expand and have more information within your GitHub, you could absolutely do that. But remember, this is for me in summary, right? In summary, and any additional information is going to be found in your repo. It should be easy for me to find. Okay. Should you submit this form if you have yet to receive grading at all? It really is up to you. I've shared in the Discord, I've shared in a few places that I'm grading thousands of people for some weeks, and then in later weeks, the later weeks is only hundreds, right? So if you get to later weeks in time, then you should get a grade. If you are very behind, you are at risk, and so closer to that date, make sure you get submitted no matter what. But if you want to wait a little bit and see if you get feedback from me, it's just up to you. This bootcamp is extremely difficult. It's very hard for me to pull in TAs, whereas in the big AWS Cloud Project Bootcamp, we were able to bring in TAs. But this one, it's mostly me, and then the other Andrew, if I have to bring them in. But we're doing our best to try to get feedback for everybody. But anyone that does submit for final submission and has all their weeks filled out will get feedback, video feedback specifically, right? Not just written text. But there you go, and good luck, and hopefully you had a really fun time. And I'm not trying to stress you out too much with this form, but that's what I'm looking for in this thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's final product. Ciao, ciao.